My city don't bluff. I'm so Memphis, I'm so grizzly, don't bluff like a tiger red bird. My city don't bluff.
Really, well, good afternoon. So we're trying to iron out some of the things that we had issues with in the game yesterday. I guess Tulane was taking care of the basketball. I don't know, looking back on it, there were a lot of travels called, and so there are things that we needed to concentrate on and working on our footwork as well as I thought that was one area where we really struggled. And rebounding, once again, I thought that we missed a few box outs that we need. But overall, I think Markel is shooting the ball well, has been a big plus for us. You know, KJ played well. You know, Deidre gave us his normal effort, so and his scoring and all around play. So again, we got our bench some playing time. I thought those are things that we really. There was a period there where we struggled, and they hit about three during a stretch there that really. They took the lead on us, but we were able to amp up our defense and play. It was something we've been doing consistently is defending, so we have to continue to do that, especially against a very good Tulsa team. And you know, Tulsa's a team that is very, I think they're still trying to, you know, find their rotation, playing a lot of players. But they had a lot of new faces and lost a lot of good players from last year. Frank Haith is always, he's an excellent coach. His teams play extremely hard. He has a great staff, you know, guys that have been around, like Dennis Felton, and I know Shea Seals, who played for us at Tulsa. So he's got a very solid program as well. I mean, I've been impressed with E2, how to pronounce his name, is a very solid player, and their lineup is, you know, they've got, you know, that's the issue. Their depth for us will be a challenge too, because they're a type of team that can wear you down. They played everybody extremely tough, and so we know even, you know, they went into Houston and they had Houston on the ropes and probably should have won that game. And they beat in UConn. So they've had some good wins. Stephen F. Austin is always a tough team. So we know we have to play well. Any questions?
Any road win in conference, obviously, is a nice road win. Is there anything you can take from one to the other from having success over the weekend to what you have to deal with in Tulsa?
Well, yeah, there's a lot we can take with us. I mentioned before, I thought we really got back to passing the ball better than we did. You know, previously, but you know, still, the rebounding is something that's concerning me. So those are things we knew that we could concentrate on in practice to improve. I don't know. I think our outside shooting, which seems to be picking up, that's something that I think is a good thing. If we can continue to shoot the ball with accuracy, we'll be okay. But that's basically what I know. We've got to be a lot more physical. That's something that but again, we have to keep guys in the game, and our physical player is probably, our most physical player is probably our, you know, he's the biggest on the team is Dietrich, and so we've got to have him, you know, available and not in foul trouble. That's the other thing. I think we've been able to stay out of foul trouble for the most part. Even Jamario stayed out of foul trouble for the most part yesterday.
Tubby, what would you say your fondest memories are of coaching at Tulsa?
Oh, there were a lot, because we had a great time. It was tough the first year. The second year was tough because we were on probation. But then those Sweet 16 teams with Alvin Williamson, J.R. Rollo, we had some good players on the team. We had Shea Seals, who I mentioned, who's on the staff there at Tulsa now. And a lot of the guys still live in the Tulsa area, like a Cordell Love. I just remember all the kids there, Craig, Hernady, just going down the list of people that were part of that team. And just the individuals that and how grateful I've been because the people there, just wonderful people there in Tulsa. They treated us with like family, and that was probably one of the toughest things, probably the toughest move I've ever made, had to make. Was I didn't have to make it, but that was one of the toughest moves I made, was leaving Tulsa for Georgia. But everywhere I've been very fortunate to be at some programs like Tulsa, who has they love their basketball. They've had a lot of success there over the years with guys like Nolan Richardson, Bill Self. There have been some outstanding coaches there, Steve Robinson, Buzz Peterson, Doug Rhodes. There's been some outstanding coaches who come through that program. So it's been like a basketball coaches training, which is, it's not really training, but it's been great for us. And so it's been, and I think a lot of young coaches, got a great start there. And that's because they give you the resources, they've got again, the tradition, just like Memphis, they have a lot of, so there's a lot of fond men, but more importantly, I think the people, my neighbors, the McBratneys, and certainly, just spending time at a place like Casher Hall, where my sons went to school. We lived right down the street from there. That was always great because we could go down there and play basketball on Sundays and just hang out.
How would you compare Tubby Smith, who took over at Tulsa as a first-time head coach, Tubby Smith today? How would you evolve, would you say, as a coach over the years?
Oof, a lot greater. But and that's obviously you become a little wiser. You hope because of the things in a program. Because at your first year you can kind of try different things. We were a very up-tempo team. I remember Gary Collier was a kid, sort of like Markel Crawford. I don't think he had taken but a three, maybe 1 3 before I got there, and he actually led the league, Missouri Valley Conference, in three-point shooting the next year, and ended up being Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference. Really didn't play much. He was a sophomore when we went there. He was a freshman and sophomore, and really turned out to be a great player. Shea Seals ended up being the leading scorer in the history of school. So it's a special place. It really is a special place.
You guys have had a few true road games, but obviously the conference season, every other year, home and road. What do you and your staff do to help prepare players when you go into a hostile environment like this?
Well, it's not much. You just have to teach them to play with consistency and not get too high or get too low. And you create that environment in practice. You want them to play with intensity, but also understand that and not be distracted by, because it's between those lines where it actually counts. And so you don't worry about the comments, don't worry about the environment. It's kind of like the old Hoosier thing. The goal is 10 feet. So that's kind of the way we coach, is in practice, so that. And a lot of it has to do that. But it can be an intimidating place, obviously, on the road. And this group has been there before, so they're going to help me. And I don't think I've ever coached. No, I don't think I've coached against Tulsa before, but not at Tulsa. I know how it was when we were there. It was pretty tough to play. And the fans were great, and I know they still are. So we just try to prepare them on a regular basis every day about just trying to improve and don't worry about the other distractions that you're going to have around you. I mean, it was like yesterday at Tulane. The band was, you couldn't even hear yourself. It was right in our ear. It was the loudest band I think I've ever heard in an arena. And so the players, the coach, what do you say? So they moved closer. It was like, okay, coach, we can hear. I'm like, I still can't help. I'm trying to. So you have to make those adjustments, and we had to make that adjustment yesterday.
You mentioned KJ had a good game yesterday. And for him to be at his best, what do you envision his role, his sort of mentality on the court? Like, ideally, how would you like to see KJ play to contribute best to this team?
Well, he's doing a pretty good job right now. You know, I like the way he's contributing. I like the way he passed the ball yesterday. I think that's where he can be a real asset. And that's where I think he can be, especially because we know he's not the fastest and most athletic guy. But a lot of that has to do with he's still getting healthy. To be honest with you, I know after a game like yesterday or any game, he's got a little hobble to him, and I'm sure that his heel is sore. So I want him to just, continue to, we need him on the boards. And I know sometimes he's he's overmatched with his, as far as weight and his height, but he makes up for it with his, much like his brother. You know, they have a very good basketball feel and understanding of how to play. And the only thing he's got to continue to get better at is when he has to guard people on the perimeter. That's where and his footwork and his speed and his stand down and his defensive stance. Otherwise, he's doing some good things.
You got a favorite place in Tulsa you're going to make sure you visit?
Well, there might be some places. There's quite a few nice places here. They had a place called the Full Moon. They have Jamil's, which is a great place, great steak places. Well, one's a steak place, and one was a good little place where we had a deal with that you could go. It was a nice little place there. There's a lot of nice places in Tulsa. Tulsa's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful town, lovely people. So I'm looking forward to seeing some old friends.
Hey, 2 shots, that's a foul. Yeah. Let them know we finna touch down. Let them know a Grizzly in town. Feeling like a tiger on the prowl. We did the Final Four, now we want more. We tryna win bowls, man, don't let them scope. We tryna hang banners from the top post. We tryna win rings and a lot more. Welcome to the FedEx Forum. Welcome to Memphis where the legends live long. Welcome to Memphis where a young star born. I might call out hard to hit the Quan on them. Taking care of business, Elvis, Graceland. Cross it over, shoot it in the basement. Home of the king, EP, BP. Somebody call the coach and tell them that we need a 3P. Somebody bring a broom, cause I think we about to swizzy. And when I'm on the field, I don't feel I just Izzy. Tiger and Bears, oh my, Grizzly. Tell them get with me, ain't no bluffing in my city. We don't bluff.